All right, the Board of Parks and Recreation Commissioners of Kansas City, Missouri meeting for April 22nd, 2025 is hereby called to order. Will Secretary Houston please call roll?
Commissioner Smith.
Present.
Commissioner Contreras.
Here.
Commissioner Caprice.
Present.
Commissioner Myers.
Here.
President Hayden.
Here.
Director Patton.
Here.
Thank you. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the March 25th, 2025 board minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Item has passed. The next item on the agenda is considering board approval of a cooperative agreement with the Black Archives of Mid-America in the amount of $300,000. Terrence Williams, Finance Manager, is here, and I invite him to now speak about this item.
All right, Terrence Williams, Financial Manager. I wanted to clear up some funding questions that we've had in the past with Black Archives before I bring Dr. Williams up to give a short presentation. And that is prior to FY 25, fiscal year 25, the Black Archives funding was $150,000. Last year, the Parks Board allowed that that funding increase will double to $300,000. When the overall budget was being approved, Councilwoman Hazley asked that a one-time appropriation of $150,000 be added to the budget. And so last year, the overall appropriations was $450,000, but the actual budget was still $300,000. And so I'm asking that that $300,000 budget be approved, and then we go into a cooperative agreement with the Black Archives of Mid-America.
You said Dr. Karmer's going to talk?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me bring up Dr. Carter.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here. I was hoping that 450 would be our new normal because we need funds. We're doing great things at the Black Archives. It's growing, it's moving, we're thriving. Last week, for example, we had 4 community events, including the Greater Kansas City Black History Study Group, and Pat Jones-Macklin talked about A. Philip Randolph and the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters and Maids, and many people. The room was packed in our large hall, had not heard of that. So the new information is getting out. The history is being taught. On this Friday, our youth group, the Black Archives Youth Coalition Network, they call themselves BACON, and because they wanted something to sound like bacon. So, and I don't care what they call themselves as long as they do good work. So they are doing a Black Joy Symposium. Yay. So they are going to bring those elements of their culture to the archives. They'll have music, dance, art, and food, of course. And then Saturday, our programs, partially funded by NTDF, will be preserving Black churches. There's a lot of history that is lost because people throw it in the dumpsters. And in fact, this past week, we were honored and humbled, actually, that an organization of funeral home directors are giving us the cemetery records to the 3rd Black cemetery. Magic had already given us the papers to Highland, so now we have Highland, Blue Ridge, and we'll have Lincoln. So we're excited. This summer we will have college interns come to help us with the digitization process, which is like going from number 1 to number 3 because of funding. But we will get it done so that it'll be accessible. We've had researchers from actually all over the world to access our records. So we're growing, we're thriving, we're working really hard to make sure that the Black Archives is that linchpin in the 18th and Vine Jazz District, that it is a symbol of the goodness of Kansas City and the working of the people here together to make things happen. So we're excited, we're happy, and we appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Did you have questions?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I want to start with great accolades. Thank you so much for how your leadership and your volunteers have completely reinvigorated the space, it was a great joy to sponsor that increase. And I agree with you. We want to continue to think through how we can provide more money. And so that's a future conversation. But thank you for how you're leveraging the resources that you have now. It's such a great investment. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's kind.
I do have a question. What gets lost now that the budget or the allocation is being dropped? Not by us, but your total, what you are receiving. I want to be clear.
Yeah.
But how will you be impacted by that 150 loss?
Well, we had plans to make some interaction in the exhibit hall, the permanent exhibit hall, mostly for young people because we know that they've been on computers since before they went to kindergarten.
Yeah.
And we have a very stagnant exhibit. And so we were fortunate to get some money, some grant money from Country Club Bank and the Kemper Foundation. So we have some kiosks there, and we've been loading them, but we wanted to make it more interactive. And they come in, and they're all very polite. We had 16,000 visitors last year.
Wow.
And they were all very kind and very polite, but I know they were bored.
Yeah.
So we're trying to make it interactive and make it so that, and we ask them. We have events with them, and they tell us what they need or what would make it better for them.
Yeah.
So that's going to be slowed as well as the digitization.
Yeah.
We have thousands and thousands of documents that we need to get online, and we just don't have the staff to do it.
Well, I think it's important to distinguish fault versus responsibility, and while it may not be the doing of this body, that we still need to be responsible and aware of the impact of the loss of that 150. And so thank you for sharing that with us, and we can now be responsible for what we've heard.
I think what was lost on me, that's a good point, is that it was a one-time.
Yeah.
I didn't, in conversations, I didn't think it was a one-time benefit. So I will be more vigilant,
from the city,
too.
from the council.
Right, from the city, yeah. So I will be more vigilant, too.
Well, and I think also we now have Commissioner Taylor who's joining your board meetings, right? And so hopefully that more constant dialogue between our two bodies, I am hopeful that also we see some better, understandings of what you do and how what we do impacts what you do. So,
Yes. Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah.
We're excited.
Thank you for all you do, Dr. Carmen.
Yeah.
all right. Well,
We
thank
good?
you. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 32861?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item has passed. Thank you, Dr. Karma, and thank you, Terrence. All right, the next item on the agenda is resolution number 32862, considering board approval of the agreement with Elmwood Cemetery Society for the City of Kansas City to aid in the cost of mowing and maintenance to the grounds and burial sites in the amount of $60,000. Director Chris Cotton is the sponsor of this memo.
Yes, thank you. The Park Department has been helping the Elmwood Cemetery manage their mowing contract since Troy Schulte was the city manager. The cemetery is listed in the National Register of Historic Places and was founded in 1872. The first Park Board president, August Meyer, is buried there, as is the first rabbi in Kansas City, Rabbi Marcus Cohn. William F. Davis, the first African-American police officer in Kansas City, is buried there, as well as Emma Longan, the first woman to serve on the Kansas City Council. The grounds of Elmwood were designated by George Kessler, the father of the Kansas City Parks and Recreation Boulevard System. The funds for the mowing of the cemetery come from the general fund, account 1,702,150-616150, and have no bearing on the Parks and Recreation sales tax that offsets department operations. Simon Abrams with Elmwood Cemetery is here to answer any questions. At this time, staff recommends approval of this agreement. Simon.
Well, welcome.
Good afternoon, Commissioners and Director Cotton. Thanks for having us here, and Carmen as well. So yes, the department and the city has been very generous in supporting Elmwood over the last several years. Keep in mind, our goal is to be 100% self-sufficient. This funding represents about one-third of our total $180,000 annual budget. The rest comes from limited plot sales, fundraising, and other events and picnics we have. So the idea is to limit dependence, but this tailwind really helps us get over the top. for our mission of really preserving Kansas City's outdoor history museum and really honoring the history of Kansas City's founders. So again, this is extremely helpful. We have no paid employees at Elmwood. It's a volunteer board and then another dedicated group of volunteers who love Elmwood and who spend many, many weekends there. So this is critically important funding for us, but please know we work very diligently to secure other funding as well and to not have a reliance on this. But this is critically important for us as we really, preserve this urban oasis in the Northeast neighborhood.
Well, thank you. And thank you for all the time you put into it as well.
For sure.
May I have a motion to approve resolution number 32862?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item has passed.
Thank you,
very much for
Commissioners.
coming.
Thank you, Director Cotton.
Next item on the agenda is resolution number 32863, considering board approval of the grant memorandum of understanding with KC Park Foundation to receive a donation in the amount of $100,000 for a basketball court renovation in Ashland Square Park. Deputy Director Brad Clay is here.
Good afternoon, Brad Clay, Deputy Director. Phillips 66 for the second year in a row would like to sponsor or would like to donate $100,000 for the renovation of the Ashland Square basketball court. Phillips 66 would only donate through a 501c3 non-for-profit corporation and not directly to the Parks and Rec Department. Phillips 66 will make a $100,000 donation to the KC Parks Foundation. KC Parks Foundation and the Parks Department will enter into a grant MOU for the purpose of transferring the funds to the Parks and Rec Department. The Parks Department will enter a contract to complete the renovations with PC Sports, which includes the installation of basketball goals, resurfacing the court, and the Phillips 66 KCMO branding. Staff recommends approval of the grant memorandum of understanding with KC Park Foundation.
Thank you.
I'm glad that you know that this was the second time around. I remember when they did this
Yes.
last year. Curious, and I don't know that I asked this question last time, is this completely cover the cost, or will we have some remaining balance?
This completely covers the cost of what our obligation is. Now, we will contribute some funds to the KC Foundation for them doing the actual grant requirement.
$500.
Is it $500 for the grant? But that's our only piece.
Oh, to cover the
To
administrative
cover their
costs.
administration, to be able to for them to take the money, yeah.
Okay, so but the renovations are completely covered? through
Completely
this?
covered within the grant, like it was at Parade Park last year.
Great,
Yeah,
thank you.
Absolutely.
May I have a motion to approve resolution number 32863?
Move to approve. Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item has passed. Thank you, Deputy Director Clay. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 32864, considering board approval of a facility use with concession agreement with Jazz District Renaissance Corporation to hold the American Jazz Walk on the Paseo Boulevard. Events Administrator Rob Loya is here to speak.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for your time. Yes, the Jazz District Renaissance Corporation is a nonprofit dedicated to development of the historic 18th and Vine District. They are presenting a free concert with local musicians and food trucks on July 4th. Any
Ms.
questions?
Pennington, are you here to speak on that if you want to come up?
And do you mind if I hand you just
Absolutely,
some
please.
materials? Thank you for having us. Thank you. Thank you for having us. The American Jazz Walk of Fame will celebrate its 11th anniversary on 4th of July. The book that you have is the program from our 10th anniversary celebration. And to date, we have installed over 40 medallions on the 18th Street way. Because 18th Street is undergoing major reconstruction, this year's celebration, we want to hold it in the park between 18th and Truman on Paseo. We've done that one other time in 2017 when we hosted Sheila E. And it was a wonderful celebration. It was around the 4th of July as well. We coordinated, in fact, this year we're going to coordinate the fireworks display with the World War I Museum. So when our concert ends, we have their music that precedes the fireworks and the countdown. So that will occur in the Paseo Park, in that park area, but the folks there can see the fireworks from where they're standing. So we're hoping that you all will approve our use of that space this year on the 4th of July. We are making plans we've already started the process of getting permits for road closures. We're working with the city agencies to make sure that everything that we're planning is going to be supported by the police and other agencies within the city so that we're in compliance with all of the safety issues. So we're hoping that you guys will approve our use of the facility. And we appreciate the support you've given us in the past.
This is amazing. Could I make a comment? So I was a part of that 2017 celebration when Congressman Cleaver
Yes.
asked the Black-Brown Coalition to go and help with
That's
that
right,
on
it
that day.
was.
And I remember it rained that day and folks left, but then more people came back and there were a couple thousand people there for that inaugural year. Fireworks, Sheila E. rocked the house, and it was a beautiful event. The
Thank
community
you.
was excited. And the ultimate theme was to help with partnerships to increase home ownership in the African-American
That's
community. And we brought together various partners in the private sector to help with that. And I know that they did help move the needle, and it was a great way to get things going, and it still continues today. So
It
this is great.
does. It
This is a
does.
great
And
event.
and when the 18th Street Pedestrian Mall opens next year, we plan to be a big part of that because they're replacing all of the medallions in the new design. And we're planning to have a real big celebration because we think it's worthy with Kansas City's reputation as the home for jazz and the way that we honor the folks who came before us and current artists now. So we're excited about the opening of the pedestrian mall.
Thank you.
Any
I
questions?
I just want to thank you for your long-term leadership and support of the district and just the community. So thank you, for your leadership with that. Has the entertainment been announced yet?
No, we are featuring only local artists this year. We're kind of trying to save our little coins so that we are in a position to do something really big and fantastic next year.
Very good.
So it's all local, but we've got a lot of local talent.
We have a lot of
absolutely.
great seen local talent. Thank you for your leadership.
Thank you.
All right. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 32864?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item has passed. Thank you very much, Ms. Pennington.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is resolution number 32865, considering board approval of the facility use with concession agreement with O'Neill Events to hold the Boulevardia Festival in Washington Square Park. Mr. Loya.
Yes, thank you. Major annual event for Kansas City. Only real big change this year is it's been reduced to a one-day festival. Any questions?
May I have a motion to approve resolution number 32865?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item has passed. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 32866, considering board approval of a facility use with concession agreement with the Kansas City Folk Festival to hold the festival in Washington Square Park. Mr. Loya.
Yes, another annual family event, live music, farmers market, merchandise vendors, Washington Square Park, very popular. Any questions?
May I have a motion to approve resolution number 32866?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item is passed. Thank you, Mr. Loya.
Thank
Next item on the agenda is resolution number 32867, considering board approval of a facility use without concession agreement with the Juneteenth KC Parade and Festival for the use of the Great Lawn, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Truman Road, and the Greg Clyce Community Center. Oh, Mr. Loya, are you talking about this one too?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sorry. Go
yes.
ahead.
No, it's the annual Juneteenth events for Kansas City. The parade on the first weekend, it's June the 7th, and then the festival on the 21st. The KC Parks will sponsor this event. It will not be charging for use of the Great Lawn or Community Center.
Great partnership. Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item has passed. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 32868, considering board approval of a facility use without concession agreement with Black Women Making Friends, KC, for the use of Tice Park. Mr. Loya.
Yes, this is a new one. The Black Women Making Friends KC is a social group for black women in Kansas City. They're planning a picnic with food and basically a nice picnic to socialize and meet people. Any questions?
Sounds great.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item has passed. Okay, now thank you,
Thank you,
Mr. Loya.
Commissioners.
The next item on the agenda is resolution number 32869, considering board approval of a facility use with concession agreement with KC Rebels Youth for the use of Central Park to host a youth track meet. Superintendent of Community Services Jennifer Jett is here.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Jennifer Jett, Superintendent of Community Services. I'd like to introduce our Athletics Director, Letha Still. She's going to be presenting on some of the athletics agreements, so I'm going to turn it over to her to talk about this one.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hi. So KC Rebels Youth is requesting the use of the facility at Central Park to host a youth track and field meet. This will be for ages 8 through 15. It will include running events, field events, hurdles. Medals will be given out to first, second, and third place.
May I have a motion to approve resolution number 32869?
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item has passed. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 32870, considering board approval of a facility use with concessions agreement with Glory Bible Fellowship International Church for the use of Central Park.
Glory Bible Fellowship Church is requesting to use the facilities at Central Park. It's to host a youth track and field meet as well. It is from ages 5 to 18.
May I have a motion to approve resolution number 32870?
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye.
I'm sorry, there's two different groups doing track and field?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item has passed. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 32871, considering board approval of a professional services agreement with All Effort LLC for Mayor's Night and Club KC summer youth programs at Greg Kleiss and Southeast Community Centers in the amount of $70,000.
So that one will be for the Club KC youth summer programs. All Effort LLC did submit a proposal to hold the event at Greg Kleiss and Southeast Community Center for the $70,000, $35,000 going to each location for programming.
And is All Effort an entity that we've worked with before, or do we have a history with them?
This is a new entity. I know the prior entity we were working with, there was a tragic passing of somebody that was ahead of their committee, so this is a new one for us.
Okay. Because I think our next few agreements are with them, so we feel good about their ability to pull all this off.
Yeah, so just some background, they did submit a proposal through our normal RFP process, and so we went through the vetting and selection process, and from what Letha had mentioned, Real Deal Sports, like she had said, had the passing at the high level of the organization, but through that, this is the organization that kind of came from it.
Okay.
So we have not technically worked with them, but in a sense, we have worked with some of their prior colleagues.
Great. That was my question, that they are connected, but it is under a different name.
Correct.
Okay.
I have a question. And I'm asking from a youth development perspective, a programming perspective, and this is a lot of money. Mm-hmm. In what ways are we evaluating or gauging that, this type of programming is successful, especially with an organization that we haven't worked with? Like, what is the accountability or the metrics that we're requiring from them that you all might be able to share with the board at the end of I don't know how the session, cohort, that might look like?
That's a great question. I would say maybe two of the main components would be participation at each location, and then outcomes of that program, as well as we would survey out for these programs and get some feedback. We also ask for staff feedback as well, so I think those can all be components that we can compile, that we are already gathering and evaluating, that we can put together in a report out on the board, on this program for the board.
Okay. And I'm assuming that they have the curriculum that's going to be implemented, and that was part of the RFP?
Yes, so we through the RFP process will put together what the scope of service will be and line out what we expect from the sports area of this program. There's also a social aspect area of this program as well, so we line out what we are expecting from them detailed out.
Okay. I'm just keeping in mind, how we've talked about the community center assessments and obviously talking about from an operational and facility maintenance perspective, but also from a quality programming perspective as well. So just want to make sure that we're keeping that at the forefront as a priority as well.
It is definitely top of the priority list to get that feedback.
And I'll just ask Ms. Jett that we make sure, however we're advertising these programs, that's really looked at, because I know this is a priority for the mayor, obviously, of having good attendance and kiddos here and not elsewhere. And so just however, I'm not the expert on this, but however we make sure we're reaching that age demographic and their parents to know that this is available to them, I think is really important and something City Hall is really interested in as well.
Yes, and we do closely coordinate with the mayor's office. At the very least, he comes out for the kickoff celebration, and oftentimes he'll come and play during night hoops and bring his own team. What I'll also say is that I challenge my team to add to this program by partnering with our internal departments. Specifically, the health department was a focus of mine, as I'm aware that they have a violence prevention program that I think would really ties into some of the and aligns with some of the outcomes we're trying to provide with our program as well. So we're trying to align with different departments and collaborate with them.
My last piece that I'll add is just that I'm glad you mentioned the health department, but I also think this is an opportunity for us to leverage the resources at this table, in this room, in the city, because there are a lot of really good organizations that are doing a lot of good work when you talk about this specific age group. KC Common Good, Lyrics Institute. So hopefully because I haven't heard of this organization, so hopefully an organization like this recognizes that and that they are partnering with these organizations in the city. That would be my recommendation.
This organization is fairly new, actually, looked them up. So
Are they?
I didn't hear that.
I said this organization is fairly new.
It is a fairly new organization. Last year was the first partnership, so we continue to manage it, and we'll take that feedback and make sure that we implement that and move forward with it.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to hear more about the progress of this.
Yeah, it sounds like, and if I recall, for last year, we made a similar request and you followed up with some metrics. So if we could have that at the conclusion of the summer programming,
Sure, absolutely.
that'd be great to present in a public forum again.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 32871?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item has passed. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 32872, considering board approval of a professional services agreement with All Effort LLC for Mayor's Night and Night Hoops summer youth programs at Southeast Hillcrest, Garrison, and Greg Clyce Community Centers in the amount of $110,000. Ms. Jett. Or sorry. I don't want to steal your thunder.
No, you're fine. We're just requesting All Effort LLC. It's submitted their proposal to hold the events for the Night Hoops, Southeast, Garrison, and Greg Clyce. The event will be held Monday through Thursday across all 4 locations. The term of the agreement for total cost would be the $110,000. Staff recommends board approval.
May I have a motion to approve resolution number 32872?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item has passed.
I'm opposed. I am opposed.
Okay. Put that on the record. Thank you. All right, this item has passed. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 32873, considering board approval of a professional services agreement with All Effort LLC for Mayor's Nights and Night Nets summer youth programs at Hillcrest Community Center in the amount of $20,000.
All Effort LLC submitted a proposal to hold events at Southeast Hillcrest. That's for where's the Night Nets? I don't think I have the Night Nets.
Okay, I can handle this one.
Okay.
So I have the memo for our Night Nets programming at Hillcrest Community Center. We have seen a program participation increase in this specific area. We focus on female volleyball at Hillcrest, and over the past 5 years, we've seen the participation really, really grow. And so all effort submitted along with an additional proposal, all effort was selected, and they'll move forward with the programming at Hillcrest Community Center, and we recommend approval. And we'll take any questions.
May I have a motion to approve resolution number 32873?
So move. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Opposed.
This item has passed. Thank you, guys. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 32874, considering board approval of a facility use without concession agreement with Brookside Soccer for the use of Frank Vedic Park. Are you guys doing this one too instead of Kevin?
Yes.
Okay. Then please proceed.
Brookside Soccer is requesting the use of the soccer facility at Frank Vedic Park for youth soccer activities. It'll take place from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays. Sundays it'll be from 5 to 8. Staff recommends board approval.
May I have a motion to approve resolution number 32874?
So move. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item has passed. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 32875, considering board approval of a facility use without concession agreement with Northland Static Volleyball Club for the use of Kansas City North Community Center. Ms. Judd.
Thank you. So this is an agreement we've had with Northland Static Volleyball Club for quite some time, probably about 5-6 years at Kansas City North Community Center. So they'll be doing training instruction of volleyball Tuesdays and Thursdays. Total compensation is projected at $11,262.50, and it will run from May 6th of 2025 through March 31st of 2026. We recommend approval of this agreement as well. Any questions?
May I have a motion to approve resolution number 32875?
So move. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item has passed. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 32876, considering board approval of a facility use without concession agreement with Raiguku Soccer Academy for the use of 9th and Van Brunt athletic fields.
Ragoku Soccer Academy is requesting the use of the 9th and Van Brunt soccer fields. The purpose is to conduct soccer practices on one half, and then they will have games on the entire field. Staff recommends board approval.
I have a couple of questions about this. Is this a reduced rate?
It is. They did do a fee waiver request, and the director's office did approve that.
On what grounds? I know that last month EDO's 50%,
Yep.
but that was brought to this board.
Your fee reductions was brought to that board, yes. And just as this one, the fee reductions are brought to the board. It might
Right.
have been excluded from the memo, but no, technically that is
Yeah, so this is
very
a,
similar to EDO
Right.
request. Yes.
but last month EDO came, because this same request was placed in the March. It looked familiar, and it was for $6,100. And yeah, I'm pulling it up. I have it up now. So it was reduced. So I guess my question is, what changed between last month? I know it was pulled last month.
I got you.
So what changed in this? What was the rationale for it? And then I know last month in workshop, we talked about eligibility and different things like that. And so, and I can't recall if Ragoku was one of them, but I believe that there was a balance. Has that been paid? I want to be careful that as we are moving forward in agreement, because we've stopped agreements for other reasons. Are we up to date? Is this particular partner up to date in all their payments?
I don't believe they are.
Okay, well then, I would say if it's in the agreement that non-payment of rental fees will result in immediate termination of this agreement, and we have a current person or organization, excuse me, that is up, and this is the same memo, the exact same, but it's 50% less, that's concerning to me. And I think it needs to be pulled from the vote. Or we can vote it up or down, but that's concerning.
Well, I can say the March one was taken off because they filled out the fee waiver at the 11th hour, and we weren't prepared to bring it before you for board approval as they requested the fee waiver. Like I said, Director's Office approved that fee waiver, but thus pushing us to April for
Yeah.
your board approval.
Well, thank you for that explanation.
Yeah. As far as I know, billings go, they are up to date on anything that they use as far as the 9th and Van Brunt facility. I'm not so much sure on the barn facility.
I can look into that, I don't
Yeah,
know.
But
Well, then I would ask that we pull
Two
it.
distinctions that between the field rental and then what they rent for their academy at the barn.
But same entity.
Same entity, two different amenities.
Correct.
Yeah,
Two different agreements.
two different agreements too, yeah.
But same organization. I just want to make sure.
Same organization.
We're talking about the same organization.
That is correct.
Yeah, this is concerning. I'd like to have more information, and that's just from my end, but President Hayden, you can decide. But I'm hearing that this is a organization that owes something to this department. They're asking for a fee waiver, and they still have some outstanding balance in some way. The organization does. It just caught my eye.
No, and that's fair. I guess my concern would be we haven't asked that about any of the other groups that we're approving for, so I don't want to be singling this one out if we're not.
Well, the reason why it came up for me is because I recall this same one in the March packet. So that's why it was like, well, why are we? But to your point about it being pulled.
And I think it's more reason for it to probably be pulled so we can know. And that's kind of what we've been asking is
really of all
the process of where do these organizations stand? Because you all have said that you want to move forward in collecting fees, holding organizations accountable, and now we have the opportunity to do that. I know I missed March, but that's what it sounds like.
Well, and I don't know that this is singling out President Hayden as I think more about what you're saying. I think that's an important piece. But I think that in workshop, especially last month and previous workshops, we've had some pretty good questions for all of the organizations. If I recall, we had one that talked about some, what was the thing? You looked it up.
Oh, the good standing.
The good standing, right? So there are things that we're not pulling out the air that's part of the use agreement policy. And this just feels consistent with wanting to hold all of our partners to the same account.
And just so everybody understands, this agreement is based on the athletic field use policy, where the barn is a totally different agreement
Sure.
that Director's Office negotiated with Goku. So again, just so you know, comparing apples to apples.
No, thank you. Thank you for that.
I would also just add as part of executing contract agreements in community services, like knowing this is a May 1 start date, it still needs to be sent out to be signed and executed. And if we don't receive, we've had discussions, if we don't receive signatures in a timely manner as well, that we make the call even after board approval to terminate some agreements. And we have on very, very few occasions recently, but to just hold that standard. And so perhaps a suggestion could be to require that they are full up and paid or fully paid up before we will let them step on the field for their agreement on May 1. And we have been able to do that as well after board approval.
No, that's a good point, Ms. Strout. Like last month, we approved subject to them getting their good standing, so we could say subject to getting payment back. And sorry, go
The problem with that is that one of those organizations did not follow through, and so we have a resolution number assigned to it. It's out there somewhere. If we know they're not in good standings and not doing right, we should not move forward with passing it.
Very fair
Can I have a follow-up question? You're saying that one of the contingency agreements, and that's always the risk of contingencies, right? But there was not the designated follow-through?
Well, he didn't get his good standings with the state.
Which Rizzo's?
Yes.
Yeah, so they declined using our facilities, so the
Who?
Rizzos
Oh.
are no longer using our facilities because they could not come up with their,
Gotcha. I see what you're saying.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, then, that was... Lana, legally, can we pass it subject to them?
Yes, you can amend the resolutions subject to payment by a certain date.
How much do they owe? I apologize if I missed that. Do we know?
They
Roughly,
I am
they-
not sure.
so-
I just think more information needs to be,
They're behind at least 5 months
5 months,
or more.
and this is the same organization.
Yes.
And to clarify, that's not at 9th and Van Brunt, that's
Correct.
the other agreement.
The barn agreement.
Yes.
The reason why I'm stressing that it's the same organization, because it's the same organization.
And it brings up the point of, we talk about budget, we talk about funding. If an organization owes any entity, they shouldn't be able to just run up a tab. I can go run up a tab in the parks, I can go run up a tab in the community centers, I can go run up a tab at 9th and Van Brunt. Obviously with the understanding that sometimes organizations may come up against issues, but it's the communication, and if they're doing that everywhere, then that's a concern.
Right now, is someone going to make a motion to hold, and then see if you have the votes?
I move to hold this vote.
Second.
All in favor on the motion to hold?
Aye.
Okay. Do we have a different motion? That one didn't pass. Can I make a motion on it?
Does anyone, the other motion would be
To approve by May
amend
1.
Subject to payment by second.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to amend it, subject to them being paid in full by...
Paid in full on the other
on the
contract.
Yes, the back due by May 1.
Or can we say by April?
April, I'm sorry, April 30th, yes. Yeah.
By April.
By the day before.
April 30th.
Oh, in 2
So then it
weeks.
would go into effect on the 1st.
Yeah,
Or next week.
yeah, because it's 9 days. May 1st is 9 days.
Okay.
So we wouldn't, so we're just blanketly saying that because we don't know the amount. I think you're saying 5 months.
Well, just, payment in full of
Yeah, I
any
mean,
past due
whatever their
amounts.
past due amount is, will have to be paid in full by the 1st of May, so by the end
By
of the,
April
by the end of
30th.
the day on April 30th.
Okay. Do I have a second for that motion?
Second.
All right. All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye. Oppose.
Okay. That motion has passed.
So can I ask that information is reported to the board, end of business day, April 30th?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Letha.
Will we get a, Brad, Deputy Director, I'm sorry. I know last season you gave us a layout of schedules going into the new season. Can we get
Share
that,
that with you?
please?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is resolution number 32877, considering board approval of a facility use without concession agreement with Kenneth Brink for the use of Kansas City North Community Center to offer judo instruction to youth, advanced youth, and adults.
Thank you. So we have been partnered with Kenneth Brink Judo for several years at Kansas City North Community Center. He holds classes on Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays. The term of this agreement will start May 11th and run through April 30th, 2026. He provides judo sessions every session. It's fairly popular. We see it fill with participation, and this does come with the 60-40 revenue split. The revenue share of approximately $522 a month, and we estimate there'll be a total of $6,264 taken in revenue-wise from the agreement. We recommend approval. Any questions?
May I have a motion to approve resolution number 32877?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item has passed. The next item on the agenda is Resolution Number 32878, considering board approval of Amendment Number 1 to the facility use without concession agreement with Come to Jesus Worship and Praise Church for the use of Greg Kleiss Community Center to conduct church services. Ms. Judd.
Thank you. We are here to extend the end date of this agreement from April 27th, 2025 through April 26, 2026. And we will receive compensation during that time, $45 an hour for a compensation of $7,020. And we recommend approval. Any questions?
May I have a motion to approve Resolution Number 32878?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item has passed. The next item on the agenda is Resolution Number 32879, considering board approval of a facility use without concession agreement with VLJ Kings for the use of Marlboro Community Center for youth basketball practice. Ms. Judd.
Thank you. So VLJ Kings is an organization that offers youth basketball, and they'll be using our facility at Marlboro for practice. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, $50 an hour for a total compensation of $3,300. And this agreement runs through April 29th of this year to September 30th, 2025. We do recommend approval. And any questions?
May I have a motion to approve Resolution Number 32879?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item is passed. Thank you, Ms. Jett.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Resolution Number 32880, considering board approval of the Northland Trailhead Study. Deputy Director James Wong is here to speak about this item.
Commissioners, Council District 1 and 2 funded this study. The purpose of the study is to find the new trailhead locations in the Northland to provide a safe, access to our trail network in the Northland. The study recommends 14 sites total in the Northland, and furthermore, they recommend 4 sites as the first phase. And the first site is at Line Creek Parkway and the Northwest Battery Road. And the second site is the Buckeye Greenway and the Northeast Mellon Avenue. And the third site is at the Line Creek Community Center, and the last one's at the Fairfield Park. So 2 of the sites in Council District 1, and 2 other sites are in Council District 2. So with that, I'm here to answer the question you may have.
Thank you, Deputy Director Wong. I'm glad to see the responsiveness to our previous questions about making sure there were ones in both districts, so appreciate that.
Thank you for that. Move to
Thank you. Go please.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item has passed. The next item on the agenda is Resolution Number 32881, considering board approval of change order number 2 with National Streetscape Incorporated for the Teresa Lynn Reinard Park Pedestrian Bridge in the amount of $5,700 and extending the contract time to September 11th, 2025. Deputy Director Wong.
Commissioners, this project is in construction. Change order 2 will add 114 linear foot of fence. Those fence will be placed at the bridge abutment and also bridge wing walls, because there are steep drop-offs at the bridge abutment and wing walls, and those fans will prevent pedestrians from falling off at the wing walls and abutment. Yeah, it's a safety enhancements.
Great. Thank you. May I have a motion to approve Resolution Number 32881?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item has passed. The next item on the agenda is Resolution Number 32882, considering board approval of a small local business enterprise design professional services agreement for Bud Park Shelter and Loop Trail Design in the amount of $159,125. Deputy Director Wong.
Commissioners, Bud Park is a 26-acre park located in Northeast, and it was acquired in 1890. So we received about $1 million PIKE funds to make improvements at the park. Those improvements including restoration of existing loop trail, restoration of a historical shelter, and an access road to the shelter to the parking lot. So under this agreement, a Joe Architect will provide the design services for the shelter and the loop trail, and the agreement will also provide conceptual design, final design, and construction documents. With that, I'm here to answer the question you may have.
So, Deputy Director Wong, this is a continuation. Your citation in here about what started in 2022, did all of that, and now this is them following up?
Yeah.
Complete?
They did a concept back in 2022, so they gave us estimate. We went back to City Council, Council District 4, and they provide additional $1 million to kind of follow up with the final design and the construction dollars. So this is a subsequent phase of the first one. Mm-hmm.
And so it's been 3 years. Is that unique, or does it typically take that long?
So it's the funding gap, because initially we only have the conceptual funding, and we don't have the funding for design and construction. So now we have the design for construction funding, so we're moving ahead with that.
No, I get that. I'm saying, is it typical for it to be a 3-year gap?
It's not typical. It depends on a case-by-case basis. Yeah, mm-hmm.
Okay. Are there any particular contributing factors to this? I'm just curious because it has that 2022 on there. Why we're just seeing it again. You're saying that money was just now identified to complete?
Yeah, so what it does is when a conceptual design is done, then, we get a lot of community involvement, and they look at it, and then in this case, they kind of narrow down and they say, hey, we love the concept, which is a loop trail replacement, and restore the shelter, and they also want to put an access road, to the shelter, this historic shelter. So once that conceptual is done, then the next step is the applicant, in this case would be Neighborhood Association, they're putting a PICA request. So in our case, because if there's no money for design construction, we'll be on hold mode, until the design construction money kind of, become available, then we'll kick off the design. In this case, once we get design done, we'll get the loop trail replaced. I don't think the shelter is fully funded yet, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this amount is for the shelter and the trail design.
Yeah,
the
for
design has happened.
Yeah,
the
for
money
the
is
design.
there, but maybe not for the shelter.
Yeah, maybe not be able to cover the full shelter construction. So with the Pike project, the dollar is always the issue, because when the dollar and the scope lines up, then those projects will get built very quickly. But when the budget comes in higher than the funding in place, then we're just in a hold mode. Usually we'll go back to City Council and say, hey, we have a project, because when the costs exceed the budget we have, there are two options. One is VE, value engineering. You just, reduce the scope, or you put a job on hold until the funding becomes available. So this is sometimes it's on hold mode. Mm-hmm.
So if this is approved, this 159,125 will go out and work will begin to happen, but because the shelter portion is not fully approved, then that may lie open. I'm sensitive to what we've heard about incomplete projects and just the timeline, so I'm just trying to understand.
So this is just a design contract.
Just the design.
Yeah,
so they'll design it.
Yeah, we have a total of $1 million. So we finish design, and the next step is go out to get bids for construction, and then construction will happen afterwards.
Okay.
So yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is just a design.
This is just a design
the trail
contract.
And the shelter, even though we don't have the funding for the shelter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is this the same neighborhood association? They're contributing funds from. Did neighbor apply to it for a grant as well, or is this not the same project I'm thinking of?
Is that the same one?
You know what I'm talking about.
When they present.
Is that this?
Yeah.
Okay. No.
Not,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was the big master
Disregard.
plan. That was the master plan.
Yes.
So to be clear, Deputy Director, you said they've got $1 million in PIAC.
Yeah.
It'll be $1 million minus 159 that they have left?
Yes.
And so if the bids we get when we get to construction is less than 850, then we might be able to do the whole thing.
Yeah, we might be able to do
we
the
just
whole
don't
thing.
know
Yeah,
at this
yeah.
point
Mhm.
until we get the bids for
Yep.
construction.
Okay, I thought I heard you say it's a $2 million budget.
No, $1 million. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, I misheard
Yeah,
you.
mhm.
Okay.
Thank you for answering those questions.
All right. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 32882?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item has passed. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 32883, considering board approval of a small local business enterprise design professional services agreement with Pendulum Studio, LLC for the Satchel Paige Stadium Master Plan in the amount of $70,000. Deputy Director Long.
Commissioners, Satchel Paige Stadium is located on East 51st Street near Salt Parkway. The last renovation done on this stadium was back in 2012. It was about 13 years ago. So we're anticipating another renovation will be needed in the next 5 to 10 years. So we're just trying to stay ahead. The existing stadium is in a floodplain, which is the reason that, this is a study that's going to look at a different option, potentially to put a new stadium just north of the existing stadium out of the floodplain. In Pendleton Studio, they are a local SLB firm. The scope of their work will include site analysis, community engagement, conceptual level design, and conceptual level architecture drawing. So with that, I'm here to answer the question you may have.
And we also, is this the project that you wanted to speak about?
Yes.
You're welcome to come up.
Okay, I have a question of Deputy
Yeah,
Director
go ahead.
Long. So we've previously approved an agreement for the fire ants to use this. How would this work with that?
This is, as I said, we don't anticipate another renovation like 5 to 10 years down the road. This is just that we're going to look at options, and we're going to be looking for grant, funding if there were any grant funding available. So this is a very conceptual stage. They're going to look at if it's feasible, right? Because there's a space.
So this is just a study.
It's just a study.
Okay,
yeah,
because
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like we have a lot of investment going into this, and so would love to know how other community partners can utilize it, and that may be what you all are speaking to, but just curious about that. So I would say in next month, between now and then, to be able, because I want to know who currently uses Satchel Page. So that's a question. Who's currently using it? Is it just the fire ants that we have an agreement with, or are there other community members or partners that are using it, so that we can understand how the study can correlate with the hopes or intentions for the space?
The Kansas City School District is using the stadium right now.
Okay, for their baseball games?
For each I forget all 4 of the schools, but there's 4 schools that are doing limited games there in an attempt to come back to Satchel Page and utilize it. When it was before under contract with the Boys and Girls Club, it wasn't necessarily in the condition that needed to be for high school ball, but the high schools are using it right now, and they're excited about it.
Okay, so there's 4 schools.
4 high schools.
4 high schools.
Southeast, I believe. I don't know the other 3 off the top of my head, but I know Southeast is there because I was at the game.
Central and Lincoln? Okay, thank you. So right now, just KCPS and the fire ants are using Satchel Page. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on up.
All right.
Hi, my name is Darlene Guess. I'm with Town Fork Creek Neighborhood Association.
Welcome.
First time at board meeting.
Well, thank you.
I'm learning some things. And so Satchel Page Stadium falls within Town Fork Creek neighborhood. And we have for quite some time been trying to kind of gauge what you're asking, some of the questions you're asking. Who's using it? How can the community utilize it even more? And we just found out by happenstance that an outside league is now contracted to use the stadium. I think they said for like about 3 years or something. Don't know the details of it. Is it, May to September? Can we use it on the weekends? What are the options for the neighborhood residents who also would like to utilize it? And then I'm coming today for this, and I'm hearing about a Satchel Page Stadium master plan. I'm in the community. I've never heard. I'm on the neighborhood association, and I've never heard about the stadium master plan, nothing about the baseball league coming in. So just want to gauge how you all are communicating, or whoever's doing this is communicating with the neighborhoods. Pat is with a neighboring neighborhood that also utilizes it as well, so you may have a stake in it too. So I don't know who the question goes to, who can answer that question.
Yeah, I think, thank you, first of all, for your volunteerism. Staff, do you have a response about the use agreement? What are some of the details?
The team is using the facility from the end of May to the end of June, early July if they make the playoffs. They plan on having home games Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They'll be on the road the rest of the time. And they will be taking care of the stadium. They'll be taking care of the mowing expenses, lighting bills, so they'll handle it. They are open to other groups utilizing the facility. They are talking about an adult baseball league that would like to play there as well during that time. So they're absolutely open to other people using the facility.
What are the times of the games? Or the anticipated times?
I think Sunday games are during the day. I want to say the Monday and Tuesday games would be late afternoon.
I'm sorry, you said the games are what days of the week?
Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays.
So you said late afternoons, Monday, Tuesday, and then,
I believe early afternoon on Sundays, like 11 a.m., I believe.
So for the days that is not being used, who's the contact at the neighborhood association or any neighboring association would contact to say, hey, we'd like to hold an event at the Satchel Paige Stadium?
We would put them in touch with the team as they're taking care of the maintenance of it during that time.
And
so my question, so there's not a Parks and Rec contact, because that was just a cooperative agreement, not a lease, correct?
It is a lease for the time of their season.
So from May, June, July.
End of May, June, and their season's over by early July.
So you're saying within season, there's a organizational contact, and out of season, who's the parks contact?
Be Kevin Carney.
Okay. So Kevin Carney?
Kearney.
Okay.
Kearney?
Kearney, yes, sir.
Yeah, Kearney.
Okay.
So here's my question. Pat Clark, Oak Park. I'm trying to figure out, why do we need to contact somebody with the team who, they're out of California. Before this guy got the contract, I was talking to him, he was calling me. But once the contract was signed, he don't need to talk to me anymore. And so when you talk about how are we able to use the stadium, hell, we can't use it now. You know, we live there. This guy that he claims is his manager supposedly lives around the corner from the stadium. I don't know nothing about that. I just know that Satchel Paige sits in the heart of our community, and we're not allowed to use it. And Chris, you know, I've been fighting this fight, man, for as long as I can think. But when it comes to this, and when they call me asking me questions and I can't give them answers, I don't even know who you are, you know, but you want to use the stadium too. I just think that before we go any further with this, I think the team should come in and sit down with us. You know, the hardest part about it is being leaders in our community and can't answer the questions from the people that ride by and look at it every day. You know, that's the hard part about it. I mean, they have access, and we had talked about, before this even, we talked about doing a joint project because we wanted to paint the stadium. We were going to spend the money for the paint. I told you we didn't have any problem with that. But now, you know, here's somebody else coming in with an interest that's outside of our neighborhood that wants to, you know, go out and get money so they can do what they want to do in it. You know, there's not enough baseball games, high school, to even say anybody's playing there. It's empty more than it's open. I mean, than it's being used. And so, you know, I think that when she asked the question, who do we contact, I don't think we should be contacting the team, 3-year contract or not. I mean, they don't live here.
I have a question. When you say you've been fighting this fight, can you tell me, what do you mean? You talking about the fire ants?
No,
or
about the stadiums.
Okay, just
about
utilization.
The upgrade.
Okay.
I mean, I've played there.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks that played there still live there. Mm-hmm. You know, and for guys that just don't play anymore, to look at that stadium and not see what they saw or what they participated in, it's a hurtful thing. Mm-hmm. You know, and for me to be in the position I'm in and not be able to say, hey, man, this is what we, you know, because it ain't no we. You know, we have to now direct our questions to an outside venue.
So Lana, under our agreement, can you go back and look at that? I mean, I don't know off the top of my head what that says, so I'm going to ask our legal counsel to go back and read that agreement so that we can.
Mm-hmm.
So if we want to have an event, we got to go to them.
And no matter what in that agreement, it is limited to late May and July.
Early July.
And early July. So I hear your frustration and understand it. I appreciate the point of view, but I want to encourage that January
through the end of May, picking back up to the middle of July, all the way back to January, you have a Parks and Rec contact in Kevin Kearney. So I'd be interested if you can follow up and let us know the interruption that you're anticipating, or the perceived interruption. And then if we can figure out who the contact is. I'm concerned if I'm hearing Mr. Clark say that he was once answering his call and not anymore. I'm curious about that. And that's I want to follow up on that.
That's the owner of the team. I mean,
if that's the point of
Well, it's actually the owner of the league, and he came before the board, and
Yes.
you approved it. So I'll talk to him.
It sounds like we still need a contact, though.
And he does have a local Kansas City gentleman who's going to be the team manager, and I'll find that information out.
Okay.
I mean, we had conversation, but like I said, once the contract was signed, he didn't need to talk to me no more.
Okay.
You know, and before I sit down, I need to talk about Oak Park. We've had some things done, and at first I couldn't get porta potties, and now they put a slab out for a porta potty. When I don't need a porta potty, I need a bathroom, I need a storage room, I need all of that, because that park is live every day. But the sad part about it is when the parents come to watch a good game, they have to catch the bus back home or go all the way back home. I'm talking about disabled. Have to go all the way back home because the wheelchair is not, the bathroom's not accessible to them. You know, and a lot of folks can't maneuver around to use the restroom like they would in a regular restroom. So, you know, I'd like to make a note of that right now. I need a real bathroom and a storage because I got a basement full of basketballs, you know. So, I mean, I'm not asking for a whole lot. I mean, if I have to go through my PIAC person, that ain't working neither, you know. But at least I'm out here in front of the Parks Board, and, yeah, that's the need I need right there. We ain't otherwise, we good. We good.
Well, thank you for bringing that to our attention.
I also have just the Kansas City Parks Cultural Mall. Where can I find more information about that? They said the stadium is part of the Kansas City Parks Department's Cultural Mall. Is that, like, I see a lot of area plans on the website. Is that a terminology for the parks, or is that for the design people?
The cultural mall is supposed to be part of the cultural mall, but we don't know what the cultural mall is.
Can you repeat that? I want to be, yeah, let's get that on record.
Yeah, as I recall that, you know, the cultural mall includes, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, yeah. Right, yeah, the cultural mall includes Bruce Watkins Cultural Center and other, you know, amenities in the area. So that was referred to. So yeah.
Terminology.
Yeah, terminology. Yeah. Sorry about that.
And then it said that the Satchel Page Master Plan Project.
Yes.
Is that something on the parks website that I could go and research? I see area plans like Swope area, Midtown Plaza. Is that something that is the SLBE? I'm trying to find out.
No. Right. So ma'am, so that's what the board approved today would be the initial concept to do that plan, and then once that plan was finalized and is complete, then it would be up on the website. But right now, there's no plan yet.
Okay.
That's what we're voting on today is.
For them to put together a plan.
Yes.
For them to study the facility. Study the facility.
Okay. And you said the $70,000 is going to come from PIAC money.
Yeah.
To study, because you know we're in Town Fork Creek and we've got millions of dollars that were invested in the whole creek. The Town Fork Creek Greenway never has been spent that we know of, at least not in Town Fork Creek. So I'm just trying to find out where do all these studies go? Nothing ever gets done.
Right.
So study. Nothing ever gets done. And I know you all are probably just
that's my
voting
call, too.
on a study, but I say before you do any more studies, where's the studies from all the money that's already been spent in Town Fork Creek? And the Town Fork Creek Greenway, which is the Parks and Recs, stems from like 59, goes all the way down to Satchel Page. And again, I'm new at this, so if anybody wants to shed some light on where I can go to pull this information up to review, I'd be happy to review it. But I say before you approve more studies, can you tell me where the money already is from the previous studies?
Results from the studies.
And I heard that in one of the previous votes too. Tell us where the money is and what's going on.
Yeah, I think you're right on time with your observations. I mean, that was a similar concern, which is why I was asking what has happened between 2022 and this. And even in my learning curve, because it is one, from my own experience, it is layered learning and understanding how the various systems work. But I appreciate your piece. Can someone give a quick tutorial on the process, and Deputy Director Wong, you may be the one, of what the process is, study to concept to community phase, can you walk through that?
So Town Fork Creek and Brush Creek, those are water services project. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, because water, Brush Creek, from Paseo to Lakeville Insurance, that's a lower branch of Brush Creek. So water has done a study they did was core, a lot of core money going to there. And as they're doing that, they also did a Town Fork Creek study, because one of the water doing is, they have a consent creek, they have to address their overflow control program, which is trying to reduce overflow to the combined system. So we have not done that yet, but we are doing, this study. It's just that when we look at a water study, right, if you look at a water study, they have a look at the option to move Statue Page, from the existing location to north of the existing location out of the floodplain. And they're putting a detention facility in the existing location. In our case, because that study was,
Retention.
Yeah, retention. I'm sorry.
Not
retention.
Retention.
Yeah.
It did sound
So
like
I don't know if
you
you've
said
seen that. If you have not seen that, we'll provide that to you. We got a copy from water, because we do not want to kind of repeat the work they already done. So this is just like a take step further. So when we look at the water study, it's like, hey, we have a lot of questions, right? How much it's going to cost? What kind of stadium this is about? And we had a conversation, along like MOK Park. We have a good momentum going on there. We got like $2.8 million construction dollar to build a bridge over there. We also got $4 million, to build a skate park. So those are all coming from, the study phase. When we have a concept, and we can show the grant, entities like, hey, this is what you're going to get. Once we did a study, show a nice stadium, the seating, because a lot of times when the grant agency, they want to give you a grant, they want to know, if I gave you this amount, what am I going to get? So this is the study that we're doing here now. I know you have done, probably, went to Water's like a study, right? Water Town Fork Creek study they did, right? Yeah. And then also the Brush Creek study they did, right? Yeah. So we just take what they left, because we saw their plan was like, hey, it's our park property, but we have a lot of questions unanswered. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because even with Brush Creek,
yeah,
the water's flowing really well through the plaza, then it gets out to Prospect or Woodland, and it stops.
Yeah.
And that sewage and whatever's in there is just sitting there.
That's because Woodland is still at the bottom of the creek. That's never been removed. The street is actually still in the bottom of the creek, which the council members know, because I made that clear. It's never been removed. So that's what happened to the boats coming from the plaza around the island at Cleveland. Yeah. So that ain't got nothing to do with y'all.
Thank you, Mr.
No,
Wong,
thank you.
explaining that.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. I've heard some action items of, following up on, contact for you, for the neighborhood on, use of Satchel Page. We'll get some more information about what our contract with the baseball team says. And then also, you had some questions about how the money's being spent that's previously been allocated. So we'll get answers to you on that. We've got your contact information.
Thank you for your volunteering.
One last question. I've been trying to get a new scoreboard in there. Is that coming?
In Satchel?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, it's there.
Now, see, when I tried to get it done, I was told that it was a flood problem.
Deferred maintenance, because the other one doesn't work.
No, I'm saying that was a parks
It's a parks.
expense.
It's part of what we agreed to with the team. The other one doesn't work. Is non-repairable.
And like I said, I've been trying to do that for years, but they kept telling me it was a flood plain, you know, so. Wow.
Okay.
Got enough.
All right, there's a question. Was there a question on the floor?
So my last question. So Pendulum Studio, and part of their community engagement, they'll be, I guess the assumption is that they will get with Town Fork Neighborhood Association. Do you have, when are your neighborhood association meetings?
Saturday, it's fourth Saturday of every month.
Maybe we can note that.
In this case, it will be, I'm sorry.
5931 Swole Parkway, if anybody wants to come and share with the neighborhood.
Okay, you write down.
Can we get that?
We haven't been contacted about anything happening till thus far. I just found out today.
Okay.
About this meeting
An email.
regards to this, so
Well, thank you for adjusting your schedule. Yeah.
in the future, when you guys decide on different changes that happen in the neighborhood.
Thank you for adjusting your schedule on such short notice.
Yes, ma'am.
I got it.
Fourth Saturday, every month, 9 o'clock.
And I would also say, her email address was noted.
Yeah, okay.
I will also say, anytime a neighborhood association would like any update from Parks and Rec, you can simply put that request in. Our Secretary Houston typically is fielding all of that, and so please feel free to make that request. There are so many that, you know, I would imagine the staff is not just arbitrarily selecting them, but please make that. But we hear your request today, and so we'll follow up with staff if we can get a confirmation on when they can have some presence to give an overview.
Yeah, we'll do that.
And one of the reasons I was coming today, when I just found out about this while I was sitting here, was about our trail, the Town Fork Creek Greenway Trail that goes from the park down to Satchel Page. It hops across a couple of main streets, 55th and 57th and 55th. And then it meanders back to Indiana at about 53rd Street. It disappears in the woods.